Today I want to show a great way to make 4 at a time flying geese, and this is a way that's not really shown very often online. I've got my flying geese right here. Now these flying geese are 2.5 by 4.5, and that's the unfinished, so sewn in it would end up being 2 inches by 4. And so for that, for the geese, I will need a 6-inch square, so I have a 6-inch square right here. And then for the outside of it, for the sky, I guess, I would need a 7.5-inch square. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this because it looks like a little bit needs to be trimmed off of it. All right, so I have that. And what I will need to do, and I'm just simply going to eyeball this. So this is one of the things I like about this. I'm going to try to center this over this. I'm just eyeballing it, so this is pretty centered. And what I'm going to do to make it so that these pieces don't shift around and I don't have to pen is I'm going to go ahead and fuse these temporarily together with starch. All right, so for the next step, I need to draw a diagonal line. And so as you can see, these pieces are fused together, but it's a temporary fuse. So I'm going to go ahead and just get that to go diagonal to diagonal. And there is trimming with this, so even though it's obviously not exact, that is not a problem. And so I have dark enough lines there, I can follow that. And so next I can sew it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew on each side of the line about 1/4 of an inch. And so what I do with that is I line up that marked line with my 1/4 of an inch line on the plate there. So you might be wondering why I have this piece of fabric in here before I start. And that's just because the tip here, it can get sucked into the machine if there's not already something like that that has like the thread going through it continuously. It's also very economical for not going through a ton of your thread as well. You'll find that your bobbins last a lot longer when you do that. And in my case, since I have a straight stitch machine, I don't really have a problem of this getting sucked into there. So for me, it's more just that I like the chain piece and it's kind of an economical use of the thread. So here we are, and I can just cut these apart. All right, and then I will need to press these. So here are the two pieces, and they do look pretty strange, but this is going to work out pretty cool. So what we're going to do is we are going to put these on top of each other, and what I am trying to do is I am actually matching up the sky edges there with the geese edges. So I'm trying to match that up pretty well. All right, so there we go. Okay. Okay, so we have that, and then I'm just going to draw the diagonal, and it's very important that I match that up right on that seam line there, because that is what is going to make these flying geese units look really sharp. And then in this case, I am going to go ahead and just pen it because it's a little awkward otherwise. And then I am ready to sew this. All right, so just like before, I am going to sew 1/4 of an inch on each side of that line. Yep, there we go. So here's our two pieces. So we gotta remove those pins, and then I'm going to cut this apart. And if you'll notice, I did press them to the side. That's usually what you do in the case of flying geese, but you can press them open. I've done that before too. And so before pressing, what I want to do is I want to cut these into two. And I'm basically making sure that I have at least 1/4 of an inch away from those tips. And so I can see here that this looks like it's even wider than that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. And I'm going to line these up so it's pretty squared out against the edges there. That makes it so I'm probably not going to have a problem that way. And then this will end up getting pressed that way. And so now I do the same thing to this. And so I have it in the middle here, and I'm just making sure that I have at least 1/4 of an inch from both sides. And there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and press these, and then we will get to the trimming. Okay, so now I have my units all pressed, and I'm going to show how I trim these. So what I like to use is I like to use this Stripology, and this is the Stripology Mini. It's by Creative Grids. And the reason why I like to use it is because they have these dash lines on the diagonals, and so it makes it really easy to be able to trim something like this. And so since I am wanting these to end up being 2.5 by 4.5, then that means that what I can do is I can trim right here at the 1, and I can trim right here at the 5.5. So I'm going to do that. And if you're doing a lot of these, you might even want to just mark it for yourself, just so you know. So this is basically the waist part of this. I am okay with this. Not everybody is okay with a waist kind of a thing that way, but I am. So I flip that vertical there, and then I am just lining that up with the white lines because those are going to give me my trims that are on the 1/2 inch. And so basically I have 5.5 there. And then I'm going to have the 3. And that is going to give me my perfect 2.5 by 4.5 inch flying geese unit, just like that one. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up trimming the rest of these. And here they are all nice and trimmed. And so you can do all kinds of things with these. Now, of course, you'll notice that this was a directional fabric I used for the geese. And so we have right side up, upside down, and then we've got going sideways either direction there. So one of the things that you could do with this is you could put these kind of like this, and then you just fill in your corners, whatever fabric you choose for the center, and that can be a simple economy block. If you flip these around, then you actually get a star block. So you have squares in there, and then your center, and then these would be the flying geese units you could have for a star block. And so that's nice because you can have all of your directional fabric going the same way. It looks really coordinated, looks really organized and planned. And then there's also another option. You could do a Dutchman's puzzle, and so this is what I did on this one. So let me show that. So for a Dutchman's puzzle, you're basically going to have these two like that, and these two like that. Oops, sorry, wrong way. Let's see, there we go. These two like that, and then you'd have that and that and that. And then you'd basically just sew these together 2 by 2, and you would end up with a unit that looks similar to this. So there's a whole bunch of different layouts that you could do with these, and if you need flying geese units, this is a really great way to get 4 at a time. If you use a fabric that is not directional, then you can do even more flying geese sorts of layouts where you could have them all in a row, that kind of a thing. So I hope this has been inspirational for you to consider an alternative way of doing flying geese, and until next time, happy sewing.